Howdy. I think that's off a hee-haw or something. I don't know. It is weird getting old because your cultural references, they don't quite work. And then there's always literary references. Not everybody reads all those books that you read. And as far as like keeping up with things, at some point in your life, I think this happens to everybody, is you're just like, don't care anymore, you know. Anyways, I'm done scaring myself for the morning by reading about a second outbreak in China of the COVID virus, and then everything. It's like I've had a very COVID morning, and it's like, yeah, I'm kind of done doing that. But I set my alarm for 6 to make sure I start waking up earlier when I want to, because being old and sickly, it's very hard to get going and doing anything, and then suffering from depression. It's not cool. Like, I woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning and didn't eat anything until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I was just sitting there eating cookies when I finally talked to the dude that's going to help me find the place. He sent me several more options to look at, which is cool. So I have to do that today. I know people enjoy seeing me sitting up, because I look like the grim specter of death, like Casper the Friendly Ghost, and I have to deal with sunspots and everything else. I do have some kind of like cardboard I can tape, like light cardboard that won't make the whole structure tip over, that I can tape onto the edge of that to block out the sun flare there. But really, the reason why I started doing these things in bed is because I was sick from benzos. And I just kind of got, then just kind of ended up slowly getting trapped in this room by Stampy. So that's really how this whole thing kind of evolved, of me sitting in bed. And then I got the good high dollar microphone attached to the bedstand, and I would have to disassemble this. I don't know how complicated that would be, and set it up in a mic stand and to get the same sound quality. I guess there's not that much of a difference, especially now that it I'm missing so many teeth. I don't sound pretty no more. But anyways, yeah, it's totally unintentional, the way this worked out. It's organic. Because there are videos of me sitting up. I used to have a recliner where that scooter is that I threw out. I forget why I threw it. I think I just threw it out to make room, because there's just no fucking room in this place. It's not an efficiency apartment, but this is an efficiency bedroom. It's very fucking small. I mean, I had to take a tape measure and measure it, but I'm thinking 14 by 10 tops. I'm thinking so. Yeah. I have a nice huge living room with a vaulted type ceiling, like a big ass fucking ceiling, that I can't use because of the noise factor, and I can't comfortably play my guitar out there, because everything in the hallway I can hear, and everything that happens in my bedroom can be heard in the hallway. And so this is like, that door to my bedroom is like good soundproofing. So that was another reason to hide in here. Is hiding in here sort of started as soon as my landlord just was like, "Don't care. Let's throw these loud ass hood people that have loud animated arguments on the porch next to the guy that's lived here the longest and pays the rent most consistently." Because when he bought the building, I was the only guy living here. So, yeah, I remember meeting him meeting Mr. Gerald Miller, who finally broke down and texted me. I might as well be boring and read what I wrote. I wrote something vague to him. If the stupid phone will work, that has all the ads on it. But anyways, fuck that. It's always boring anyway. But basically, he wrote me a 3-part long text that very delicately said, "Where the fuck is my money?" So, and then like what I wrote back was something along these lines: is like, "I'll let you know soon. I am in the highest risk category for death from COVID." In parentheses, cardiovascular disease. I understand that your wife also has compromised health. I'll let you know what's going on soon. Take care. So it's just a bunch of like vagary and nonsense. So yeah, I'll look at the places I got going today. I don't know, I suppose I have to protect my record as a renter, because I'm going to be a lifelong renter, obviously. I don't know how long my life is going to be, but yeah, I don't have any plans of, unless I become rich somehow. I don't think so. Being incredibly witty and clever does not make you a cash cow. All right. Yeah, I don't think it's sort of like with writing. It's like I was explaining to somebody on the internet, because it's really weird. Like, there are so many people on the internet, and there's so many more people to talk to because they're all trapped inside. But I was explaining to somebody, like, the most important asset a writer can have is not talent, not education, not an interesting story to tell, not like a life full of adventure. The most important asset a writer can have to make it and make money from what they can do is fame. If you're famous, you can write a book. Pete Rose got a book. Pete Rose, I guarantee you, can't write worth a fuck in damn. And I love the guy. I was really upset when they fired Pete Rose from being a baseball analyst, because not only does he know the game inside and out, and he's very smart when it comes to remembering facts and figures, and just he has like a photographic memory when it comes to baseball. I mean, he's like the E.F. Hutton of baseball. People like Hall of Famers, when he talks, they listen. They don't ask questions. They will ask questions, but they don't offer a fucking opinion. They just listen, But he got fired because of, I think he had a dalliance with a 16 or 17-year-old girl in the 70s, and there was a political correctness firing. Now, he has so much talent and is so good at what he does that I hope it's like Marv Albert. I don't know if y'all remember when Marv Albert got caught for biting a prostitute or something. I think it was biting a prostitute. Okay. This was way before PC-ness got out of control too. But they were like, oh shit, man, we gotta fire the best basketball broadcaster of all time. Damn it. So they just like fired him and wouldn't let him, he apologized in a press conference, and then they either got fired or they forced him to step down. But then he came back in like 4 years because he's just too good at his job. So I'm hoping it'll be like that with Pete Rose. But anyways, Pete Rose got a book. Ivana Trump got a book and is still writing to this day. I think she wrote like 2 or 3 books. Ivana Trump. So the point is like success is not about talent or being good at your job or having something interesting to offer. Success is like this Gerald guy. He just walked in, he was born with a silver spoon up his butt. It's just the way it is. Uh, so, um, yeah. So like that's why I go with like personal satisfaction, and like it's why I never tried to. There's other reasons, I suppose, but I never cared about whether my novels were read or heard or anything like that. I really only put it up there, put pieces of my novel up, or I put the whole novel up uh, for something to do, really. I mean, yeah, just for something to do. And then, you, but if I was famous, I could, you could just hire a ghostwriter and you could have a bestseller. You could put any slop up, and it doesn't matter. So that's your number one asset to being a successful writer is fame. Um, yeah. Now whatever coherency I had is gone. So let's get back to the drudgery that is my life. I have uh, I don't know how many options he gave me, but he gave me a bunch of options, and I wrote that riff specifically for him because he's a guitar player. So I was like, I didn't really even want to pick up my guitar because I don't enjoy much anymore. Um, I enjoy writing and talking, and that's about it. I don't really enjoy playing a guitar all that much. Um, it's just too uncomfortable, and I'm too limited by my technique uh, to express myself properly. Um, you know, I often think how things could have been different if my guitar history was different. If I had like nurturing, if somebody taught me to tune a guitar within the first, I had a guitar for like years and nobody taught me anything about it. Like um, yeah, I don't know if my parents didn't have any money at the time or no one cared, but it wasn't. Somebody would have started me off early, but then like one thing about um, not having any nurturing as far as like doing something is like you can be original. It's like when you go to college, they teach you just can't help but be like a clay stuffed into a mold. So you get your guitar teacher and you learn your theories and you learn and to do this and you learn to do that. And like if you have to figure shit out yourself, it's much more easy to be original because nobody is telling you how to do things. So I was explaining on talking to somebody else on the internet. It's like um, I didn't go to no college, man. I barely made it through high school, but I used to enjoy, not even as an ego stroke, but just because it was intellectually stimulating. I used to enjoy mopping the floor in debate against people that spent $50 to $100,000 to go to college, just to amuse me, just to amuse myself, because it's really easy. Uh, it took me a while to hone my chops as far as that, but it's really easy. Is you don't talk about what you don't know about, and you remember what you say, and you think. You know how they say measure twice, cut once. Well, you think about what you say. You think about the angles it can be attacked from, and then you write. I don't have that option when I'm talking. So, like I said, writing is easy. Talking and monologuing is hard without some sort of prepared statement. Anyways, so today I probably should eat before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Would probably be a good plan. It's sunny out, obviously, so I have no excuse for not going back there and seeing if there's a chair back there, which I've been trying to do for 3 days, but have been too depressed to. If you're too depressed to eat before 3 in the afternoon, you got an issue. So, yeah, eat something. I had one solid meal yesterday. Um, yeah, look at those. The main thing is to look at those apartments, and I have to decide how I'm going to handle my landlord situation. I was like, should I tell him, like, well, I'm in quarantine until May 1st, and frankly, I don't, they told us that we were only quarantined until April 6th, and I'm like, already thinking bullshit, and I'm like thinking bullshit over this May 1st thing, and, but I could, like, say, well, on May 1st, I'll pay you for April and May, because it is a pain in the ass, and you have to pay money to evict people. Like, I may have told you this story before. I am sure that I have. But it costs like $200 to go through the process of getting somebody kicked out. So I talked to my best friend who rents to people, and he was like, "Look, man, it's gonna cost me $200. Why don't I just give you the $200? I mean, I'm gonna get you out of here one way or another. It's like, I'd rather just give you the money outright and then you leave." I'm like, that's kind of genius. And I talked to Gerald Miller about it, and he was like, "No, no, no, don't want to do that. That sounds improper." And I'm like, the guy that told me that he did that was a policeman for 30 years, doesn't even swear, and is like one of the most morally strict person I've ever seen. But I think I just said the cop part. I don't remember if I said that other shit. But he's like, well, cops do things that are wrong too. He wants to do everything by the book, which meant that instead of paying drug addicts money to get the fuck out of here and sparing me a month and a half of misery, it's like if you offer like drug addicts, like, there's 200, I think he said $225 it costs to get people out. And I was like, you don't even have to pay the money. I will pay the money. I was like, I will give you the money. Just don't tell them that it came from me. He still wouldn't do it, even though it would have been my money to spare me the month and a half of misery. And these people were threatening my lives and shit. And he wouldn't do it that way. He's like, no, we got to do this properly. And then he goes so far as to, she gives him a sob story, one of the squatters, Jessica. And he's like, well, I gave her an extra week to come up with the money. And I'm like, you haven't got a dime out of these people for like, they've been here for months. You haven't got a dime out of them. It's like, what are you doing? The only money that you saw from that apartment came from that I Can program. And it was to help out this supposedly a homeless drug addict piece of shit named Scott that started the whole meth business up because of his habits. And he's the one that let in the people that set up the meth house and started the whole shit, which just happened to coincide with me trying to quit benzos. So perfect timing there, you know. But anyways, so I shouldn't bring up all that shit because it's just been a hellacious 2 years. It's ruined me. And it's just, who knows? If I didn't live here, who knows? I might have 10 more teeth. you know, I might be able to walk. This place has fucking ruined me, and it's why I have that hatred, baseball bat hatred toward the landlord, and don't want to give him any fucking money. But if it's not gonna hurt his rich ass. It's just gonna hurt me. So, like I said, the only justice I could possibly get for his stupidity and is put Batman justice, putting a ski mask on beating the fuck out of him and hospitalizing him with like a crowbar or a baseball bat. It'd have to be like street justice. I told my cop friend about that, and he said, "Oh, you're interested in that street justice, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And him being a cop in the 70s in Canton, he knew all about that. He knew all about taking, throwing a guy in the back of a cruiser and taking him out into wooded areas where there's no witnesses. He didn't like that shit, though. He wasn't like that. He's a straight-laced Christian dude. You know, he would just watch in horror. You know, like he didn't partake in that type of behavior. He just watched in horror as the beatings that were the street type justice that the cops would administer in the 70s, because you did not. Canton was, like I said, Canton was called Little Chicago for a reason. It was the sixth worst city per capita crime wise while he was on the force. So the cops really couldn't afford to fuck around with people. And I've told those stories before about how there was that bar called the Palms, and they that was kind of like between districts and between cop jurisdictions, and no, I talked to him at length about that place, and he's like, "Well, there's really only two cruisers." And I was like, "Two cruisers against all the murderers that were in that place?" And it's like, you know, the place was infamous, and like I said, when they buried, it was just a saying in Canton. It was just common knowledge. It's like nobody knows how many people were buried behind that bar in the woods that I used to play on. You know, I used to dance over their graves when I was a kid, when I'd be playing in the woods back there. I'm positive I've walked over numerous graves. It was just common knowledge, you know. It was just the 1970s were a different time, and the 60s and the 70s were a different time, you know. And like, I don't want to get into all those morbid old stories I've already told anyway. I want to focus on, those are all on here anyway. I want to focus on what I have to do today. And yeah, it's already like 8:30, so day ain't starting out too good. I did wake up at 6, turn off the alarm, get out of bed, get coffee. I'm clearly awake. You know, that's a good start. But now I have to eat breakfast, even though I don't want to, and make a plan for the day. But yeah, top priority will be checking out those apartments on the computer, and making a decision on that. And then, like, I have to literally make a list of like things that I have to do. It's just me on an island out here. I don't have anybody to help me out, so you know it's up to me to figure this shit out. But yeah, that thing where I couldn't understand is like, the landlord would not pay them people to get rid of them, but he would pay the city to get rid of them. Why not just give it to the fucking drug addicts? They're not going to turn down that money. They're going to take that money and they're going to get the fuck out. You know, they're if they were thinking left brain instead of right brain, they would say, well, like, look, $225 free rent for a month and a half. That's worth more than $225. But when you're a drug addict, you don't think that way. So that would have worked, but he shot that idea down, and then he drug his feet filing the eviction to get him out of here. But yeah, even if I could just have those last 2 years back. There's a video of me playing guitar on here from like June 18th, where I'm sitting up wearing a shirt, and that's how I started the video out. Is every time I'm sitting up, people are like, "Oh, I'm glad to see you sitting up." It's like, sitting up, laying down, I'm the same. Sorry, motherfucker. So if you want me to sit up and talk to you without a chair and without the benefit of this microphone, since my voice is crap anyway, and I can't enunciate words the way I used to because I lived in this shithole and lost all my teeth, which is ironic in itself, because meth heads move in here and I lose my teeth. That's as ironic as this is Tangential City. But that's as ironic as like my cousin in Florida that kneed my dad in the balls and ate the sawdust and thought he had COVID. Uh, my cousin in Florida didn't go to the dentist literally at all for 30 years. I've been going to the dentist and trying to take care of my teeth, and he's beat me at the game of teeth. He has more teeth than I do. And I was like, I've said this before, but I was like, how many teeth did you lose from not going to the dentist for over 30 years? He's like 8. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. He goes, well, 4 of them were my wisdom teeth, and I stopped them, and I said, those don't count, motherfucker. Everybody loses their wisdom teeth. I was like, you lost 4 teeth. It's like, let's see, 1, 2, I think I lost like 14. Uh, how many teeth do I have left? I don't even fucking know. I'm not gonna sit here and count them because I guess that would be gross. But I don't have any teeth from here back. I'm missing 2 on this side, 1 up here, and 3 over here. So I'm probably in double digits, teeth wise. And the dude loses 4 teeth and spends no money and puts no effort into going to the dentist for over 30 years. You know, meth heads move in here and they got more teeth than me. It's like what the fuck? It's probably just a genetic thing. But as we know, life is not fair. It's just the way it is, man. You know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even want to. I just want to get away from here, and I just want to move out of here. And as far as paying the rent, I'm not sure how to play that. I could actually float that idea to him, and he might bite on it because it's going to cost him money to evict me. I've never fucked him over before. Um, you know, I could actually fuck him over if I found a decent place to move, and it wouldn't matter because I'd be living there for such a long time that I can explain that guy was a bad landlord. Or I could talk. I don't really want to put the money, his rent, in escrow, but that would make him look really bad if I put the money in escrow. But then that just means more hassle for me. Because if I put the money in escrow and list all the things that are wrong in this place and send, you're not getting your money. Escrow, right? I'm assuming you pay it to your city's uh, clerk office, and they hold on to the rent until you and the landlord figure out. You get a mediation going, and I'd be like, look, this place is a fucking shithole. There's holes in the walls, and I'll list my grievances, and we're supposed to mediate it out. But that just means more interaction with the guy that I want to chop his fucking head off, and that's not healthy for me, and it's just more aggravation for me. So it's easier, it would make him look bad, and it might look better on my record. I don't know. It's just all too fucking confusing. I know I'm not. One thing I know for sure is I'm not going to get any justice. That's just off the table. I'm going to have to let the universe. Sometimes you just have to let the universe handle that, and just hope something bad. Hopefully that. I don't believe in direct karma. People are like, oh, karma will take care. No, 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 no. Yeah. You think it was karma when Hitler shot himself after turning the whole of Europe into a fucking funeral parlor? You think that's adequate? Oh, that's your karma, Hitler catching up to you, shooting yourself in the head. No, that's not how karma works. Karma is impersonal, So this guy could. There's plenty of bad people that get away with their bad behavior, and yeah. But I kind of have to trust that you kind of just have to let shit go, and hopefully um, karma from just general karma from the bad that's in the world will come and strike him. But it's more likely to strike me. And I ain't done it. I'm a great guy. It's more likely to hit me, man, from my experience. Bad things. Yeah, bad things are more like, he's fine. Uh, he's healthy and rich, and has a family, and all that shit. So, even while being a sociopathic scumbag, um, who facilitates the drug trade and just watches good people suffer and shrug. What do you want me to do about it? Yeah. Okay, how about not renting to drug dealers, domestic violence people, criminals, insane people, people who are severe alcoholic? How about, like, I don't know, uh, just screening human beings? Just how about some human beings? I just want some human beings to live here. People that are civilized, you know. Maybe like, can't really do nothing about the crack that's being smoked here or dealt here, or the meth that's being smoked here or dealt here. I'll give a year lease to a guy that's fucking out of his goddamn mind, you know, and has PTSD. That's got to stop. I mean, I don't know if there's a cure for that, but I've been getting like a muscle spasm in my right arm. It's very annoying. I don't know what the deal is with that, but it needs to quit. I don't know why I would have that or what that's about, but that needs to stop. But yeah, it's so it looks like I got to give this schmuck money at some point, because that's the only thing I can make of it. Because if I play it with the escrow thing, where he doesn't get his money until he fixes this shit up in here, it's just going to be aggravation to me, and he's still going to be rich, So it's just better to give him his fucking money, and maybe even pay for May, since April's half over. I got to give the guy like $850, you know, to protect my reputation when he's the shit bag, and everybody fucking knows it. I mean, the cops know it. They just can't do anything about it. It's just the way it works. Landlords are a protected species. They're endangered, like bald eagles or something. They're like a protected. Seriously, they're protected. It's like I literally have to write down a list of grievances and mail it to my landlord first, and then write a copy of the grievances, and then go to the Massillon County City Clerk's office, if they're even open, and give them the rent money and the copy of the list, and tell them that I sent a list of my grievances to the landlord. The landlord who could give a shit about anything, who left a hole in my wall through winter that's Wilt Chamberlain could walk through, and then like I finally blow up on him and chase him out of here, and indirectly, well, I was very threatening. I didn't say anything threatening because I wasn't stupid, but I chased him out of here. After that, he was like, I'd like to have some drywall people come in and fix that hole in your bedroom wall. And I'm like, I cared about that hole in January. I don't care about it now. Don't bother me. It was like that's what I said to him. I was like, I cared about that in the wintertime. Don't bother me. And then he has, he's such a shithead fucking dude that he's got the nerve to tell me how cold it is in my bedroom, you know. So I'm like, a lot of cold air comes up from the basement. He goes, oh, not that much cold air comes up. I'm like, I don't remember paying the rent that way. We've never been in bed together. I mean, what the fuck are you even talking about? And somebody says something that you don't even know what to say. Somebody says something to you that's that blatantly stupid and unsupportable. You don't even know what to say, at that point. So I don't even want to be around the dude, because I just don't trust myself, I don't trust my violent tendencies, and I am justified. And maybe I should give that door another good punch. I've been thinking about that. But then I've let my health slip, and I've fallen and shit. But I was feeling pretty good there for a while when I was walking around. I was like, man, I could really punch that door really good now. When I started walking around, when I punched the door, I was walking with a walker and shit. I could really hit that door and pretend it's the landlord. And you know, I don't want to bust up my hand. I'm a bad enough guitar player as it is. Um, but yeah, so that's what I got to do, I guess. Some point that motherfucker's got to get his money. I have to concentrate on just survival and making things as easy on myself as possible, and just let it go. You know, there's nothing I can do to this guy. He's just a shark that's just gonna keep feeding on people. And if I was healthier and you know, fairly bright guy, I could drag him into court and expose him for what he is in front of a judge, which would be satisfying. Even if it's just an eviction court, even if it's just like, you know, even if I put him through it, if I took like photos of everything wrong in here, and or like video, and demonstrated everything wrong in here, even if I like took that video I have, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's just called Plumber Cam. You can probably find it. But at the end of it, in part of it where he doesn't know anybody's watching him, they're committing OSHA violations. I mean, I could make him look really, really bad in court, but I don't want to put out the effort. I'm not healthy. You know, if I was healthy, I would. It's like I told him, you don't know who you're fucking with, man. You just because uh, I speak with a broken, I don't pay attention to grammar or not. You're fucking with somebody that's very bright and devious, and you know, there's a lot of ways to get at you, dude. Uh, a lot of ways besides tackling you in an alley with a ski mask on. It's like yeah, I could blow up your life. I could have blew up the exterminator's life easily. You know, like I had, like my cop buddy said, he's gonna lose his license, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. It's like you know, he's just some stupid asshole that sprayed me with poison, and like it's the landlord's pelt that I want tacked to my wall. You know, I don't want his hide. He's just some dumbass. You know, uh, but I had that guy dead to rights because I more or less tricked him into a confession on a text message, just handed to the judge, case closed. Um, so, but yeah, this has got to be about me, and it's got to be about survival. It's got to be about me getting out of here, you know. And I know I've been going back and forth. I pay attention to what I say. I'm like, I'm not giving that guy another dime. And I was like, yeah, now I'm going to pay him a month's rent in advance. It's a very confusing situation to be in because you know you're getting fucked, but you kind of just got to get fucked. You know, you don't have I don't like it, but it's kind of like it's just the way it is, you know. Um, I like to think that if my head was more clear and you know, wasn't on benzos, that I would have got the fuck out of here sooner. But I can't even guarantee that because this guy was a good con man. I'm not. Of course, it was the meth crisis of 2018 where I like, you know, finally got hit in the head with the big hammer that they use in the fair to ring the bell. Like, boing! Oh, this guy's just a sociopathic piece of shit. He's been feeding me lies and bullshit for years. You know, that he had never had any intention of letting any good people in here because he even had this guy, this cynical motherfucker in the wheelchair fooled. Like he really tried. I had a conversation with him, and the guy in the wheelchair, Roy, is like, he really tried this time to get good people in here, you know. And then like, I'm watching cops like carry out stolen goods in these gigantic tubs, and the guys with the zip ties, like two guys walked out of here, were the good people that he was really trying to get in here, you know. And then he said, I didn't go in that apartment, but they used to live above me. But he said, I asked him how that place was, and he said, "Oh man, you wouldn't believe it." And they had nerve enough to ask me to get their deposit back. He was like, the place was like a garbage dump, and there was damage to the walls. Somebody was punching the walls and all this crap. And these were his attempt at getting good people in here, you know. Oh man. So I have to leave all that hate behind and um, trust that the universe will take care of him. Or if I believed in God as a like a guy that sits in judgment over top of you, that he would bang that gavel on Gerald's head. But really, the universe doesn't work that way. I mean, the bad that you put in the world, it does come back on people. Like, but it doesn't. It's like the coronavirus. You know, the people that started that bullshit, it didn't. They didn't. It didn't come back. Sorry about that. It didn't come back and get them. It just got some random people on the other side of the world. That's how karma works. It's like that bad goes out there, but it's not like a boomerang coming right back at the person that threw it. It's like it's more like a rock thrown randomly in a crowd. You know, that's really how karma works. You know, people always like to say that shit, and it just makes me want to shake them for their stupidity. Like, oh, that's just bad karma. That's just because of what you did. And it's like there are millions of people that get by with being shit heels, and nothing happens to them. That's not how karma works. That's not, um, that's not how, when you put bad energy and bad deeds, and you throw evil out in the world, uh, like say in the 70s, we used to lock our doors, or we used to keep our doors unlocked in the 70s. It's like all day. Um, it wasn't us that made people start locking their doors. It's like it wasn't me. I am not the reason that my door's locked 24/7. And when I was a kid, we only locked it when it was time for everybody to go to bed. It wasn't me that did that, but I'm the guy behind the locked door. If you can follow that, that was other people's evil that made it necessary for innocent lambykins, a good guy like myself, to keep that door locked, and it's locked 24/7. So, um, yeah, that's how that works. But the basic gist of this is, uh, gotta research the place. Got new. Yesterday was kind of a success, you know. Uh, so I got new places to look at on the computer. You know, I connected with this dude pretty good, I think, and we had a little chat about, he watched me playing my riff on the computer, and we had a little chat about it on there. And I said, that's just a present for you. It's like, if you want to mess with that. I mean, I could mess with it, but what they say about genius, it's 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. I could make a song out of that. Just that riff. That's how that works. That's how I've written other things. But that's work. I mean, you have to hammer that shit out, and it takes time, you know. It's like the 5 minute thing I have on here that's called like Pre-Meth Madness Instrumental or something like that. That started out from one like 10-second ref, and then I just like expanded it and worked on it and worked on it and worked on it. That's, so the riff that you come up with, that's your 1% inspiration. It's like, man, I don't want to do that. It's like I'm uncomfortable all the time. Mostly I would like to just not feel anything from here down. That would be awesome. I'll give up the sexual pleasure. I'll give up all of it. Just not to feel anything from here down. You know, fuck all of it. But it's just, yeah, so I have to look at those places. And I've been burned a lot trusting people, but I think I can trust this guy. This guy seems very motivated to help me. And, you know, I just have to do my part and be on top of it, and, you know, just not, just keep in contact, just keep working, and uh, making the effort. Uh, yeah, I have to. maybe I can work that out. Like I said, I'm gonna have to give the landlord the money, and I'm gonna have to work that out. And then if I can get in a different place where I can play a guitar, like I had the amp very quiet in here. If I get in a place that's got some soundproofing where I can just play out, I've never had that luxury of just being able to play out in open air. Uh, yeah. So, anyways, that's what's going on with me. My brain is very fragmented and going in different directions. Um, I'm not getting anything done. Lying here. I know you prefer probably to see me sitting up because it makes me look healthier or more energetic, or maybe it's like impolite, or maybe I look like I should be lined in velvet or something in a box. I mean, I don't know what the deal is about that. I mean, you know, um, really the only reason why I'm not doing the half shirt thing is because I don't have anything but that super tight. Uh, I have to either wear, I got like a flannel shirt, a short sleeve shirt, and a super tight shirt that looks like a tuxedo. I had a T-shirt that I saved from the bedbug crisis. Um, I don't know where that's at. I don't know where I don't. I actually do not have a T-shirt. Um, I just don't, because everything's all bagged up from the bedbug crisis of 2019 in May. So, um, yeah. Um, but if I can get my shit together and get out of here and get in a different place, I promise. I'll tell you what. I'll keep in contact with my limited viewership. And if you want to see me sitting up and in a shirt and I'm in a different place, and I get my finances straight, I will spend some money on some clothes. And I might, after a year and a half or so, I'll open the bags that got my old clothes bagged up, double bagged, because you got to starve them little bastards by sealing them up. And, then you can see me sitting up. If that's, every time I sit up, somebody says, it's good to see you sitting up. I'm like, I'm the same ugly motherfucker sitting up or laying down. I don't know why that would be a big deal. But it is what it is. I mean, yeah. Um, Shut up, dog. I got the fan going, so you probably can't hear the dog barking. I noticed that on my videos. If the fan's off, the fan is just supposed to block out general noise, but it doesn't really block out the dog barking. But, yeah. My life has been, I wouldn't say ruined, but pretty close to it from living here. So, you know, looking inward or looking at yourself is always a good idea, and your own responsibility and things. And it's like, I can see where I contributed to that, where I was like a party to that. But I had a lot of help drowning in this sea of sorrows that looks like a building. I had a lot of help doing it. But it's like, if I would have got my head together, I would have realized that just because they're family, don't make them friends, don't mean they're on your side. And waiting for things to get better, or waiting for a shitheel to not be a shitheel and get good tenants in here. Because there was times at first when we had a good group of people in here, but at some point he stopped caring. But I can remember, like, when the big gay operatic dude was up there singing do 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 in the shower in a baritone, and then when you would talk to him, he'd be like, "Hi, how you doing? How you feeling, man? Thanks for shuffling the walk like that. That was beautiful." But then he'd be like, "Oh, he's a big, huge, like 250 pound, like I had to look up at him type of dude." But he'd be in the shower, and like I said, I was watching TV with my sister before she decided to hate me. Um, and we were watching TV, and I'm like, "Wait a minute!" I turned the TV all the way down, and I was like, "Listen to that." And she's like, what is that? And I was like, that's the big gay dude upstairs singing in the shower, man. We sat there and listened to him sing. And I was like, he's good, isn't he? And he goes, yeah, he can really sing. I've never heard anybody sing opera before. Yeah, he was cool. And there was plenty of, the 6 foot Amazonian woman that I almost jerked off to through the window, but the phone call saved me. She was quiet as a church mouse, and her boyfriend was okay. And then like the other people, they weren't that much bothered. The um, uh, woman named Carrie and her boyfriend, I yelled at her boyfriend and chased him out of the house one night, and he was very submissive. And he was a really good. He was actually a professional musician, but I never took advantage of that fact for whatever reason, because I'm a dumbass, I guess. But we had used to have good people in here, and then everything just turned to shit, and then it was just like domestic violence, cocaine sales, meth sales, loud, angry people, loud people that were totally uncouth and yelling, "Yo, Ronald!" like at the top of their lungs, just stand out in the yard instead of like going because they wanted them to come out, or it's like, even if you want them to come out and see you, dude, get on your phone. Don't make me do this when I'm laying in bed like watching TV or something. Yo, I still remember thinking, shit, man, what is this? Now I'd be watching TV and there'd be all these people, uh, and the dialogue would overlap. I just stopped watching TV because I don't. You probably, if you're watching this far, you probably know how it's set up. How I got the 3 windows and then the porch. Well, they would all go out on the porch and have these loud, animated discussions and drink and smoke dope and shit. And I would try to watch TV out there, and like the dialogue between what was going on the TV and what was going on the porch would overlap, and then I'd be like, wait a minute, there aren't any black people on the screen right now. It's like, like because it's a cultural black as far as a cultural thing, you know. And yeah, I gotta get off here and stop fucking around, playing with y'all, um, and do something useful and get that food in my belly and go outside. I was having trouble with my wrist and my arm like last night, and having them random muscle spasms and shit in my right arm. Man, I don't know what the hell. I just want to make it out of here alive with the least amount. That's the theme of this video. Is I want to make it out of here alive with the least amount of bother and trouble as possible. And if that means forking over $850 to that fucking psychopathic prick, so be it. Because April's almost gone. I haven't paid for April. If I pay for April in May and then find a place, I still will have enough money to get into that other place. My reputation as a good tenant, or is that right? Yeah, a good tenant will be intact. Shut the fuck up, dog. Why are you barking? You know. At least if I was in solitary, what's solitary confinement in prison like, I wonder? Is it quiet? I know you don't listen to any dogs barking. It's probably real quiet. I think maybe solitary confinement in prison, if you had the internet, would be better than this. Because you wouldn't have to listen to dogs barking early in the morning, like nonstop. And, yeah. Well, there's a thought to end on. But, yeah, I gotta go. I can continue to be silly and throw non sequiturs out here, left, right, there, and everywhere endlessly. But, yeah. I need to accomplish something. Eating before 3 in the afternoon, looking at the places, trying to find the place and saying, yeah, that's the one. That's the one I want to check out, or like marking off a couple of places. And going outside and seeing if there's a place where I could get some of this glorious sunshine. And it's one of the reasons why I played badly is I don't have a pick, because my thumbnail, wait a minute, I'm messed up. It's the old reverse image thing. This thumbnail, I don't have any good pick on my thumbnail, like broke, because I'm not getting enough vitamin D. I got to set. See, I could be outside right now, catching them rays, processing some vitamin D, maybe getting a little color to me, so I don't look like I belong in a casket. And yeah, I can work on that as soon as I push this button right here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll see you tomorrow.